All right, as we were talking earlier, the House voted on the so-called Ensuring Women's Right to Reproductive Freedom Act. Wow, what? I mean, you can't believe any of these names. Now, this is the Democrats' desperate attempt to try to codify Roe v. Wade following the Supreme Court's decision last month. You know, for 50 years, they've told us this is the law of the land. It's not. They're trying to make it the law of the land. Now, they pulled a similar stunt earlier this year, despite knowing they do not have the votes in the Senate to legalize abortion on demand through all 9 months of pregnancy. Still, today's House vote is a stark reminder that elections matter. For those of us who support life, it's important that we vote a pro-life majority back into Congress this fall. This is a life or death issue. Joining me now to discuss this and more is Congresswoman Vicky Hartzler. She serves on the House Armed Services Committee, the House Agriculture Committee, and she represents Missouri's 4th Congressional District. Vicky, welcome back to the program.
Well, thank you, Tony. Glad to be here.
All right, there were floor votes today in the House. Give us your thoughts on this stark contrast between the two parties.
Well, they are the party of death, and they are so extreme, and they're out of touch with what the American people want, which most people want, according to surveys, either not have abortion be legal or return it to the elected officials, and that's what the Supreme Court did. They don't support abortion up until the moment of birth. I mean, this is an extreme position. This puts America in the same category as only 7 other nations, including North Korea and China, which allow these late-term horrific abortions. And they are out of step and out of touch with the American people. And, I believe that's going to come back in this election, and it's going to hurt them. And people say, hey, we should be dealing with the things we care about, which is the runaway gas prices caused by your policy to shut off American energy, and this inflation caused by your runaway spending that you've been sending out of Washington. I mean, that's what we care about. That's what you should be fighting for, not death through abortion up until the moment of birth.
Right. I mean, I mentioned that earlier. We ended the week the same way we started it here in Washington, D.C., with the focus of the Democratic majority on abortion. And even though they know they passed these 2 bills out of the House, they know they won't pass in the Senate because they can't get the 60 votes to do it, but they're still doing it. And that, in spite of the fact that this week, we get a new inflation rate of 9.1%, Americans are hurting economically. And what are they doing to solve that?
No, they're just fueling it further. I mean, the president wants to continue to spend more money. I mean, he would love to have a Build Back Broke bill to come through. And so he's wanting to continue to make it worse, spend more money. But he's also over in Saudi Arabia pandering to them, trying to get them to drill more oil, when here he shut down our own energy production right here. And this is a self-inflicted wound at the hands of this president and the failed Democrats. We wouldn't have this energy crisis. We wouldn't have this inflation without them. And so that's why they're promoting these abortion bills as a distraction from the real issues that they don't want to talk about, because they know all this is their fault.
Yeah, I was just talking to one of your colleagues, Congressman Buddy Carter was on. We were talking about this week on Wednesday, the administration telling pharmacists that they have to prescribe these abortion-inducing drugs. And, we've been raising the alarm over this about how, as this administration is trying to expand through the mail without medical supervision these abortion-causing drugs, the chemical abortions, that this is going to be a tremendous cover for sexual predators. And, where's the concern for women and girls when this is going to be a huge cloak that sexual predators and traffickers are going to be able to put over their activities?
Yeah, that is a good question. Not only is this is going to cause a cloak on the sexual predators, but the bill to prevent states from being able to protect women and say you can't take a child across state lines for an abortion. They're undermining not only parental consent, but also opening up the door for sexual predators to be able to take their victims and force them to have an abortion in another state. And these are laws that should be determined there at the state level to protect girls But this administration, who supposedly is for women and all feminists, I mean, they've clearly been at war with women, and look at what they're doing with women's sports. And you may have heard that on my campaign side, my Twitter account was suspended just because I said that women's sports should be for women, not men pretending to be women. And where are the liberals? Where are the Democrats speaking up for all these girls that are being forced to compete against biological males, and the biological male is taking all of their medals and their scholarships and setting records? It's just ludicrous. They're not speaking up for them. It's conservatives like me and others who are speaking up and being the champion for girls and women.
Right. Yeah. How can they claim to be pro-women when they've embraced this agenda from the left that is destroying the very concept of woman? Vicky Hartzler, always great to talk with you. I hope you have a great weekend. Thanks for joining us today.